Ancient Greek philosophy, you've got to read Greek philosophy if you want to understand anything about our life today, right down to politics. And of course, The Republic is a really interesting book to read. Nicomachean Ethics, fragments of Heraclitus, and The Symposium. Those are fundamental books you probably need to read. And there are a lot more, by the way. You can add as much as you want in here. The Now we go to Egypt, and now, boy, Egypt is fantastic. The Egyptian Book of the Dead, much like the Tibetan Book of the Dead, this helps you maneuver what happens in the afterlife before you get to the point where you choose to reincarnate or not. I love it. The Maxim Taleb. So this is also a book I'm not too familiar with, but I've read bits and pieces of it, and it's definitely well worth it. Now we're going all the way back to the East again, because there are a lot of interesting classic books from all around the world. And in China, we have, well, in the West, we call it the Analects or Lunyu. And that's Confucius' disciples talking about what Confucius was doing. Very interesting, Confucius, because it really was a way to cement how we function inside of a society, the do's and don'ts of our society. It's safe to say that Chuang-Tzu was not a big fan of Confucius. But in the end, if you're going to live a holistic lifestyle and become a holistic being, well, you have to listen to what Confucius was doing. It was very interesting. Well, The Art of War, classic one. This will also give you Sun Tzu's Art of War. It gives you a lot of a really strong understanding on how we function today in this society, especially when it comes to military, political, and all of these geopolitical shenanigans that we have these days. The I Ching. Now, this is an interesting book that is also closely related to Taoism, and this really traces back the 64 hexagrams, right? You've seen these little dotted lines that make up, 3 dotted lines, but you also have the 6 ones, and the 6 ones are called hexagrams instead of trigrams. With the 64 hexagrams, and depending on how you use to bring them up, either through coins or traditionally through sticks inside of a turtle's back, which I have here, by the way, we'll show that. The I Ching is a fantastic book that can teach you a lot about yourself. It's called The Book of Changes, and it's also the Book of Discovery. Persian wisdom. Now we're going back again. I know we're going all over the place, but Persian wisdom is very interesting. And I think it's something that, again, Sufism really has its roots there. Zoroaster has its roots there. The Shahnameh Book of Kings is very important to read. The Rubaiyat is also very important to read. The first one really is mythological, legendary background and historical narratives, whereas the Rubaiyat is really exploring the theme of mortality, fate, wine, and everything. It's a really fascinating part of our world. Neoplatonic and mystical philosophy. Now we're getting here again back into the Mediterranean, northeastern part of the Mediterranean with the Ennead. You have to read that. The Cloud of Unknowing, The Dark Night of the Soul. I think it's something everybody needs to read in our society, especially those of us who are trying to understand what is going on with our lives. Where do we fit? Because this Dark Night of the Soul is something that definitely happens to all of us, and rightfully so. It's not something you should shy away from. It is a good part of life. There we go. It's not an exhaustive list of books to read, but it definitely should give you enough about what you might want to start with if you don't have or you don't know where to start with. Pick and choose any of these books, read them, go online. There are some fantastic communities out there. And then, write your comments in the comment section of the articles right here on this podcast, and tell us what you think, what has worked for you, what are the things that have helped you. Have you always felt this way? How long have you felt this way? Do you feel like you have found your way? And what does it look like? What has helped you along the way?